Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. Now today's question, which is most important in the stage 1? Is it your OIR test or your PP&DT? Now, you all know that in the SSB, the personality is being assessed by the assessors. Now in your stage 1, there are two tests. One is your OIR, which is focusing on your basic intelligence, whereas the PP&DT, which is the test, focuses on your personality. Now in the PP&DT, the rating given by the assessors ranges from yes, doubtful and no. When an assessor giving yes to a candidate, that means from his side he is comfortably cleared. When an assessor gives yen, that means no, you are not fit to be in the second stage. Whereas when an assessor feels not quite sure about whether the candidate is good or bad, he gives D, that means you are a doubtful candidate. Now, when all the three assessors gives yes to a candidate, that means he is 100% true irrespective of his OIR. In case you are being given the rating of no by all three assessors, in that case also your OIR is not referred. That means your OIR plays an important role when you are a borderline candidate. Now what does the condition say? Being a borderline candidate or a doubtful candidate, if you are rated doubtful with all three assessors, or if one assessor or two assessors, in such cases, to get into stage 2, your OIR should be either 1, 2, 3 or 4. In case of OIR 5 candidate, you should be getting the rating of yes from 2 assessors at least to get into the stage 1. So being said this, as an assessor, not just me, you ask anyone who served in SSB, they all say in unison that PP&DT is the most important test in stage 1 for the simple reason it focuses more on your personality assessment. Though we cannot do a detailed assessment in stage 1 as it has only a brief period of time, but still we can find the basic qualities which are expected to be in the candidate. I hope you like this video. If at all, please do share with your dear and near ones to more about this particular thing. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. Today's question, what does an assessor look for in body language in PP&DT and how it affects your assessment? Now to understand this particular topic, I am going to give you the basics of body language. There are few body language aspects which are involved in your PP&DT. The first one is your walking style. The way you walk inside when you are coming for the discussion, it shows how much confident you are. Many times we have seen candidates who walk in very slow or who walks always slouching. It reflects their low confidence level. And the second aspect is the way you sit on the chair. When you are sitting on the chair, there are some people have the habit of sitting on the edge of the chair. Anyone who is sitting on the edge of the chair, it shows that the person is impulsive nature who is ready to take off from the place. Some people who sit too comfortably, which means that they are being more casual. So you have to sit as comfortable as you can on the chair. The next aspect is when you are speaking, you are supposed to listen to the group members or you are supposed to address the group members. In both the places, your eye contact should be on the group. We have seen many times people who get screened out, they don't keep an eye contact on the group. There are some of you tend to look at the assessors, which again gives a bad impression. And some people, they look here and there, they look up and down, but not at the group. When you are not maintaining eye contact, it shows your lack of confidence. The next aspect is the hand movement. Especially in the GD, you are using too much of hand movements will distract the people. Sometimes people go on to the extent of extending their hand movement too much, where they are disrupting the performance of other people. Such kind of a behavior is seen more in the candidate. The candidates are prone to get screened out. These are certain body languages you should keep in mind when you are preparing for your PP&DT. I hope this video you find it helpful. Please share this video with your friends who are preparing for the SSB. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, what is the fish market and why does it happen in PP&DT? Fish market is a condition under which many people speak together. Because of that, no point is being conveyed clearly to the assessors. If you have been to a market, you know what exactly happens where number of people are talking simultaneously and it is like creating a havoc kind of a situation. But why does it happen in PP&DT? It basically happens due to two reasons. The main reason is that everyone wants to perform best in the GD. There is a misconception that the more you speak in the GD, you will be seen as an effective candidate. So it is that reason that everyone wants to outperform the other. You must understand that the purpose of GD is to bring out your effective points, not that how much you speak in the GD. The second reason why fish market is more in the PP&DT is that due to familiarity factor. The more you have been in the testing condition, that makes you more confident and you are more used to the process. That is why the fish market happens more in the repeaters batch compared to the freshers batch. The freshers, even if they are practiced well, they have taken adequate coaching, still for them the first situation they practice, the first PP&DT they practice in real time is always a big task. But the moment you have been screened out, the moment you have been conferenced out in the first time, then from next time onwards, that confidence automatically develops in the candidate, which makes you more positive in terms of approaching the group. So should we do something to stop the fish market? So this is a difficult question to answer. Actually speaking, no one can make an effort to stop the fish market in the GD. It is a process which is a part of PP&DT which cannot be stopped. I hope you understood some basics of this particular question of today. If you have liked this video, please share it with the others. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, why do the blood relation questions are being asked in your intelligence test? Now we all know that in the intelligence test, the psychologist is trying to find out your basic intelligence which you have acquired mainly through your academics and various co-curricular activities. Now when we talk about the complicated process of your brain, what happens in the brain, especially relating to your personality development, you must understand that the two different parts of the brain, that is your left hemisphere and right hemisphere, they plays a variant role. For example, your right hemisphere focuses mainly on all the visual, motor kind of activities including your memory. Whereas in the other term, the left hand brain focuses more on your language development and speech related activities. So one can understand clearly that the speech and language related activities being controlled by the left brain, anyone who is a left brain dominated can do well in things like verbal reasoning test, language usage, such kind of things. Now when we talk about why these particular questions are being asked in connection with the relationship. Now here the psychologist is trying to find out the balance between the left hemisphere and right hemisphere. Though the question is asked about the relationship, which is more of language oriented, at the same time you are asked to visualize how this relationship materialize when you start putting up in the real situation. Now this visualizing is a part of your right hemisphere of brain. Now the psychologist gets to know, are you a person who's balancing between the left hemisphere and right hemisphere? If at all you scored well, then it is considered that you are a person who is well balanced in terms of your brain activities. Whereas some people who are more dominant of the left brain, but whereas their right brain is not that much effective. They may be good in language, speech and other related activities, but they are unable to materialize these things into a proper form. Such kind of people will always find a difficulty in attempting such kind of a test. Whereas the other people who are right hand, or I would say right brain dominated, those people find it difficult to bring something closely connected to the language development and speech development issues. So with this, you must understand one thing clearly, that the purpose of the intelligence test is to find out a balance between your left and right side of brains. I hope you understood something basic about this question. If you like this video, please share it with your friends who are preparing for the SSB. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, what are the different modes in the story one can write? Now we all know that there are three different types of modes: positive, negative and neutral. Now what denotes this positive, negative and neutral modes? Now always remember this, the basic thumb rule: when the picture is hazy, like what shown in PP&DT, in the hazy picture you are supposed to assume the main character as the positive character or having positive mood. But whereas sometimes the characters which are shown in the clear pictures, like which are shown in TAT, the character is more like thinking, or he is not showing any kind of emotion. Such kind of places you can write the neutral mood. When we talk about negative mood, it is obvious that the character is under kind of a stress, like someone met with an accident, someone drowning. Now when we think of such kind of a stressful situation, obviously the person who are involved in such kind of situations will be in the negative mode. But your main character has to be in the positive mode. The other way you can find out the mood of the character is based on the action. If your main character is trying to help someone under stress, he is helping someone to get out of a problematic situation, that means the helping tendency is a positive mode. It is a positive action. Such kind of places, there is no harm writing that your main character in a positive mode. Remember, your main character should always be in a positive mode, or sometime maybe in a neutral mode, but he cannot never be in a negative mood. I hope this made you clear about what type of mood you should choose for your main character in these stories. If you like this video, please pass it on to the friends who are preparing for SSB. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, is it necessary to introduce a problem in each and every stories, whether they are shown in the picture or not? Now remember, whether you are writing the story for your PP&DT or in your TAT, you have to go with the picture. That means, unless the problem is presented in the picture, please do not bring anything from outside. Now it is a big myth with many of the candidates that if you bring many problems, or if you bring a difficult problem in the stories, you can put more actions. Now here I would like to clarify one thing, that instead of bringing a problem, if it is not present in the picture, you give a major task to the main character. Now to even do a task, a person has to do lot of actions. Now that actions, what you write, how your main character worked towards achieving the task, can be considered as the adequate actions in the story. Say for example, if a picture shows there is a person standing next to a river or any water body, until unless you see someone drowning, you don't have to unnecessarily drown someone. If you don't see a person is drowning there, just the main character is standing there, you can write a story where your main character is doing something constructive work related to the water side, or he had come to take some inspiration from the place. Now what type of inspiration he is taking, and what is the purpose of the main character that you are going to bring out, that is going to bring more actions. So the point is that you don't have to bring unnecessary problem from outside the picture. I hope you understood something basic about this particular question. If you like this video, please follow to your friend who are preparing for the SSB. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, can we overemphasize on OIR than the PP&DT to get screened in or to increase our chances in screening process? Now remember one thing clearly, in the stage 1, your PP&DT is considered to be the major test, whereas the role of OIR is that of a referral test. That means when someone does pretty well in PP&DT, his OIR may not be considered much. In the same way, when an assessor knows that this guy is not good in PP&DT at all, still his OIR is not checked. The OIR of a candidate is checked when he is doubtful with 1 or 2 assessors. So that means if you have done fairly well in your PP&DT and to some extent you have done up to the mark in OIR test, still your chances are pretty much high to get screened in. But we have seen plenty of times those who have done pretty well in the OIR, say for example scoring even OIR grade 1 and 2, but then absolutely they do nothing with the PP&DT. They get N from all 3 assessors, that means they are nowhere to be selected in the stage 1. So keeping this in mind, remember to prepare more for your PP&DT and give less emphasis on the OIR. I hope you understood this video clearly. So if you like this video, please pass it on to your friends who are preparing for SSB. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. Today's question, what is OIR needed for? Now we all know that OIR stands for Officer Intelligence Rating. Now the intelligence rating of an officer ranging from 1 to 5 on the rating scale, 1 is being the highest and 5 is being the lowest. We all know that it is a part of your stage 1. In the stage 1, PP&DT focuses more on your personality qualities, whereas the OIR or the intelligence test focuses on your basic intelligence. Now this basic intelligence is something which we have achieved throughout our education and curriculum. And these tests are made with the aim of understanding your basic level of brain functioning, and this brain functioning is induced by the language, that is mainly English here. So to simply say, a person's intelligence induced by English is what being checked in OIR test. Someone who is good in English can do well in the OIR test, whereas anyone who faces problem in the English, he will always find it difficult to score well in the OIR test. And that is a reason any person who practices too much for the OIR test can easily attain the score of grading of OIR 1. Whereas a person whose basics are not good, he will still find it difficult to understand the essential of the OIR, what is actually required from that, and he will always find it difficult to score high in the OIR grading. Now why it is required? Like we all know that in the PP&DT, you are given the grading of Y, D, N, that means yes, doubtful and no by the each assessor, and your OIR is used as a reference to decide whether you can be screened in or screened out. Now the purpose of OIR is in the stage 2, when an assessor is want to give the trainability marks of a candidate, he refers the OIR as well. The better the OIR, it is understood that the person can be better trained. So these are the 2 basic reasons why OIR is needed in the SSB procedure. I hope you got the answer for the question. If you like this video, please kindly share it with your friends. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question is something related to the goal achievement. That is, whether you should take a short-term goal in the stories or you should go for a long-term goal. Now when we talk about short-term goal and long-term goal, how they are differentiated? It is basically the time period that differentiates between the short-term and long-term goals. In case you take a long-term goal in the story, what will happen there? Say for example, your main character starting from his 12th standard and went on to prepare for his NEET exams. He passed his NEET exams, joined in the medical college, and then he went on to become a doctor and goes and serves in the village to the underprivileged people. Now if a story like this comes where the major action is not focused on any one task, rather it is focused on the ambition of a person. Such kind of stories, when they are long-term oriented, it makes the main character ambitious, but then in the bargain what happens is that you are missing out the finer details which are required at each and every process. Suppose you have taken a short-term goal. Now how do we define a short-term goal? A short-term goal is defined based on the time period. In the same story, if your main character starting from the final year of his college, or he has been doing his house surgeon, after he completes his house surgeon, then he goes on to become a doctor in the village hospital and serves to the underprivileged people. There you can exactly write how and why he served the underprivileged people. Now this kind of explanation cannot be written in detail when we choose a story of a long-term goal. So it is always advised to set a short-term goal in these stories, which might be up to a maximum of 1 year is permitted in these stories. I hope you understood the concept of short-term and long-term goal based on the examples given. If you have liked this video, please kindly share it with your friends. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question again related to your OIR. Why does spatial relations or spatial reasoning comes in the OIR test? Think about our brain, a small part of a body, but which is the powerhouse of our thinking process. Our brain does various thinking activities, whether we are sleeping, whether we are thinking, or whether we are doing various activities. One point or the other, the brain keeps functioning. Being a leader in the defense forces, one's brain should be able to function quicker under stressful conditions. Now in normal condition, when a person is functioning, it is a different thing. But when performing under the pressure, you should be able to cope up with the pressure in a smooth manner. Now the spatial reasoning or spatial relations are a part of the test, which test how much you can use your three-dimensional thinking when you are in a stressful situation. Someone who is good in three-dimensional thinking can always be more abstract, can always bring out better thinking, better imagination, and can bring better solution to a problem. Now the spatial relations, not just to see how much you perform under stress, it is also one of the tool which is used to find out what could be your profession. Like those who want to be a flyer, or those who want to engage themselves in various designing activities like naval architect, for example. Such kind of people where thinking process is more required in terms of three-dimensional, this spatial relations has to be quite good in terms of your intelligence. This is the major reason why the OIR test included the spatial relations or spatial reasoning. I hope you got the answer for this video. So if you like this video, please share it with your friends. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, can we take an old character as a main character in the TAT or PPDT images? Now the purpose of the main character is to bring out your qualities in a better manner, but there is no restriction as to who has to be taken as a main character. The only condition is that your main character should be present in the image. Whether he is a young character or the old character, it doesn't matter. When you are supposed to take your own age character as a main character is that when you see the young character as well as the old character present in the image. Suppose in case of an image where only two old characters are present, so there is no point of writing a young character from outside the image as a main character. Rather, you should take one of the old character as a main character and try to write a story based on that. I hope this has cleared your mind regarding this particular question. If you have liked this video, please share it with your friends. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, which is something quite basic, how to improve your imagination so that you can write a good story in PP&DT. Now those who have been following my videos from the beginning, we have spoken about these things quite early also, when some of them were asking question about the TAT and the difference between PP&DT. Now as far as the imagination part is concerned, it is quite common between your TAT and PP&DT because the stories are in the same format. You will be shown an image based on which you are writing a story. Now when you are imagining a story, the imagination should be based on the picture. That is the one thing. And the second thing, the idea should come realistically. That means any idea which you write should happen in real life. Now improving imagination is a long-term process and it starts always with reading. The more you read the books, novels and whatever you are interested, that will make your work brain faster. The moment your brain start working faster, when it can relate things from what you have learned in your life, it will help you in imagining better stories. And the second way you can improve your imagination is taking a picture and then start looking for more themes around the picture. Don't worry whether you are writing a wrong story or a right story, whether you are getting a positive idea or a negative idea, you should not worry at all. Any idea you are getting, first try to convert it into a story. That itself should be sufficient to improve your imagination. If you follow these two methods, then your imagination would be better when you are writing either the TAT or the PP&DT stories. I hope you have got the answer for this question. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, what we have to do in the square box in the PP&DT when there are more characters shown in the picture. Now, the purpose of writing details in the square box like the gender, age and mood of the characters is just to revise the story when your time comes in the narration period. Like if you all remember in the PP&DT narration, the GTO gives you 30 seconds to 1 minute period to revise your stories. By just looking at the square box, you will get a rough understanding about what you are going to narrate in that next 1 minute period. So since this is the purpose of it, it is not always necessary to bring all the details of all the characters shown in the picture. Now during the time of writing, you will be getting only 1 minute time for recording the details in the square box and as well as to write the action. So if that is the only time you will get to write the details, it may not be possible to put all the details of all the characters shown in the picture. That means even if there is a group of people shown in the picture, you try to write the details of as many characters as possible in that 1 minute period. But then when you are narrating the story, you should tell exactly how many characters you have observed in the image. In case the less characters are shown in the picture, it is not a major issue. But what about the more characters are shown? Like there is a crowd where you could assume at least 100 to 200 people. In such kind of places, there is no harm writing only the details of the main character in the square box, and in narration you should tell the number of characters as exactly observed by you in the picture. So that means whether the psychologist, GTO or the interviewing officer no one is going to seriously look into your story sheets until unless they have some doubt regarding your story. Even if they go through the answer sheet, they will just look for the story part, not with respect to the action and what you have done in the square box. So that means in the square box, it has to be made as simple as possible without too much of confusing yourself. I hope you got the answer for this question of today's video. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. Thank you guys. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, can we have two heroes in the TAT stories? Now, the purpose of the hero is to project your OIR cues in terms of actions. Now what will happen if you carry two characters as a main character in the story? Number one, you will not be specific as to which character brings out what type of qualities you want to project. When if two characters are acting together, the psychologist may not be able to understand who is projected as a main character so as to bring out the qualities in a clear manner. The second thing is, when you are having two characters simultaneously working together, it shows that you are a person who always lacking confidence and you cannot work individually. You will always depend on the other people to support you. So you must have seen certain people when they are given the task to do, with any support they can do it, but without support, even simple tasks they find it quite difficult to complete it. So this shows your lack of confidence. Considering both these things, you should not be taking two characters as main characters in the story. Rather, you should stick to the most important character of the picture as a main character. I hope you understood the answer for this question. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. Thank you guys. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, is it necessary to take your own gender as a main character in these stories? Now first of all, you must understand why we ask you to identify yourself with your own gender. Being a male cadet or a female cadet, when you identify with your own gender, it will be easy for you to bring out your qualities. Because male candidates cannot think like female candidates. In the same way, female candidates cannot think like male candidates always. But it's not necessary that you cannot think like an opposite gender. Like you have a mother, you have a father, you can think like your father also, you can think like your mother also. So what is the rule here? The rule here is, in the TAT images, you should find out what is the position of your main character shown in the picture. If your main character is of your own gender and he is in a comfortable position where he can be made as a main character, there is no issue of taking your main character as your own gender. In case you are given with two characters, one male and one female, and you find your own gender is in kind of a trouble. In the case of male candidate, it is the male character. In the case of female character, it is the female character. If you found your main character or your own gender is in trouble, there is no problem of taking the opposite gender as a main character. Now the next rule is that the main character of the story should come from the picture. You can imagine any characters from outside the image who are going to support your main character, but the main character has to come from the picture. That means, in a picture, if there are only female characters are shown, or if only male characters are shown, in case of female candidates, there is no doubt that you should take the main character from the picture. That means, a male character has to assume the female character as a main character. A female candidate has to assume the male character as a main character. I hope you understood the basic of this thing about this particular question what is being asked today. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. Thank you guys. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, what is the right pattern of writing TAT and PPDT stories? Now remember, the format of story remain the same in the TAT as well as in the PP&DT. The only difference you will find is in the PP&DT, you are supposed to give the details in the square box and to write separate action. Whereas in TAT, all other details has to be brought along in the story itself. Now when you are writing the story, if you remember the instruction given by the psychologist, you should bring out what has led to the event, what is going on, and what the outcome will be. You will also describe the feelings, thoughts, and actions of the characters shown in the image. So here what has led to the event talks about the past of the story, whereas the present talks about what is going on in the image, and the future part is what is the outcome of what your main character has taken. Now when you are writing the story, please start the story by introducing the name of the main character along with his profession and other details. Remember, the purpose is to identify who's your main character, so it is irrelevant if you keep adding more details or unwanted details to the character's name. The second part, the purpose of the main character should be brought out in the beginning of the story itself. Now when we talk about purpose, suppose if the image talks about accident, so you should straight away say that your main character, how has he come to the place of accident, and thereafter keep adding more actions in the present. Now the more actions, the more the OIL cues will come out. Once you felt the actions are put comfortably and adequately, then you are supposed to conclude the story by making it whether your character has achieved the task or not. And we all know that the possible outcome of the story should always be positive. So keeping this thing in mind, if you practice the stories, then both your TAT and PP&DT stories will reach to acceptable level. So if you have found this video to be useful, please forward it to your friends who's preparing for the SSB so that they can also benefit from this video. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Armed Forces Preparatory Academy. So today's question that we have taken from the YouTube is that, is it necessary to take the main character shown in the picture even if he is crying or shown in a negative mood? Now, this is one of the basic questions every candidate who is preparing for the SSB has got. Now you have to understand few things regarding this question. The first thing is, in the SSB, no psychologist would give a candidate a negative picture to come up with a positive story, because even a psychologist cannot do it. That means you'll be shown a picture which consists of negative characters as well as some positive characters. So from that you have to identify a positive character and write a story. What happening is that there are many online platforms in which there were more negative images were presented just to confuse the candidates. So please don't follow such kind of negative pictures. Now coming to the question, some of you still want to know what can we do if such kind of a picture comes. There are two approaches which are possible in this scenario. Number one, you can introduce your main character from outside the picture and can write a story. The second approach, which is more promising, is that you can take the person who is in a negative mood, bringing out the reason why he has got into a negative mood. Now remember, getting into a negative mood doesn't mean that you are a negative character. Because in our life, one point or the other, we always get into some kind of a problem. We get into some kind of a negative mood. So negativity is just, it does happen in our life. Now you can bring up to this point in the story what has been the reason for the main character's negative mood. But thereafter you can explain the details as to what he has done in the future to make the story in a positive way. So that means the end of the story can be more positive with more actions. If you do this, the psychologist will consider your story as a matured story rather than introducing a character from outside the picture, which might be considered as that you are a person who's avoiding stress. I hope you got the answer for this video, this particular question. So if you like this video, please share it with your friends. Thank you guys. Hey guys, this is Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, what is the difference between a TAT story and the PP&DT story? To answer it in simply, I would say there is no difference in terms of the story writing between the TAT and WAT. Where exactly you will find a difference is in terms of the administration of the test and in terms of the written part of the test. For example, in the PP&DT, you are asked to write the details of certain characters including the gender, age, mode, and then you have to write the brief action separately and then you bring out the story. Whereas in TAT, you don't have to do anything in the square box kind of a thing, or you don't have to write any action. Where the psychologist expect you to bring out the actions along with the story itself. Now the second major difference is in PP&DT, you will be narrating the story, whereas in TAT, you are not going to narrate it, rather the psychologist is going to read the entire story and then he compares your own story with whatever the other stories you have written. Now the third aspect is, in the PP&DT, the assessment is mainly based on have you understood the image correctly, and the story what you have written, is it logical, and then how you narrate the story, the clarity, and then with the confidence. Whereas in TAT, where you have 12 stories to write, so each and every story where your OLQs are brought out more clearly by the psychologist. So saying this, I would say the preparation of the TAT story should be like this, or the PP&DT story. First you have to introduce the main character and then you give a purpose to the main character. And then make sure that your main character works towards the purpose by bringing out various actions. And the end of the story, you conclude the story whether your main character has achieved the task or not. Otherwise, there is no difference between the structure of story in terms of PP&DT and TAT. If you found this video useful, please kindly forward to your friends who are preparing for SSB. Thank you. Hey guys, I am Ashok Kumar, your psychologist from Crack SSB Masterclass. So today's question, can the hand movement go against you in PP&DT? Now remember, in the PP&DT, the three different parts, that is your written, narration and discussion. Among these three, the narration part is most important, where you are bringing out your ideas to the rest of the group members. Now, during narration, there is no need to use your hand movements because everyone is looking at you. But this typical problem of using hand movements comes when the discussion starts. Now why it happens in the GD? It is because the candidate is so anxious to be seen by the others, he uses a lot of hand movements. Now what happens when you use your hand movements more? Remember, by using more hand movements, you are proving to the assessors that you are an anxious kind of a person. And second thing, when you are using too much of hand movements, it affects the flow of the GD. You may be considered as a person who is always dominating others, and you may be considered a person who is becoming over aggressive when you use lots of hand movements. To the extent, the candidates whom we have seen, those who use the hand movements to the extent to distract the other people who participate in the discussion. Understand the concept of personal space. Now you have no right to interfere into someone's personal space. So use the hand movements as close to your body but not extending into some other person's personal space. So here you will be considered as a disruptive kind of a character. The more you use your hand movements in GD, it will lead to your rejection. We have seen many times, even after writing a good story, narrated confidently, still candidates get rejected because of their hand movements. So by saying this, your hand movements has to be controlled by you voluntarily. If you have liked this video, please kindly share it with the other people who are aspired to join the defense forces. Thank you.